barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to join the Patreon. And I want to talk about something. Thanks VC for sending me this, man. I want to talk about just Eddie Hearn's inability or unrealistic, his ways, man, how he's so ungrateful. You know, he should be the first person in boxing saying thank you, Al Heyman. And all the Eddie Hermanites is going to come to this page like, Fred, what the hell are you talking about? Well, you guys know I I I attempt to follow everything in box, not everything, but it's too many moving parts in boxing to cover everything. But the big stuff, I keep tabs on because I'm either there or I'm covering it from my living room. And uh, it's just amazing that Eddie Hearn is an ungrateful man. You say, Fred, why is Eddie Hearn such an ungrateful man? Because without Al Heyman, he isn't the Eddie Hearn he is today. Anthony Joshua isn't the man he is today. Kell Brook isn't the man he is today, which is his 1A and 1B or 1 and or A or B. You get what I'm saying? And I just want, before I get into the Eddie Hearn instance, I want to talk about as a man. I don't care where you are in your life or your position and the people that helped you. You have to remain in a state of gratitude with people who propel you to your next level, whether you're able to skip a level or get to the half level, whatever the case may be, right? You guys know every so often I mention how Deontay inspired me to start this YouTube channel. And he consistently inspires me. We talk fairly often, or, and I'm always in a state of gratitude as it relates to Deontay, right? And as it relates to my brothers and sisters, whether you're a subscriber or you have a YouTube channel, I remain in a state of gratitude. Even though we disagree, whatever the case, Deontay and I haven't agreed on other things. We've had passionate conversations, but I stay in a state of gratitude, and from a realistic perspective, you guys understand how Sam Watson inspires me. I have to remain in a state of gratitude with people who push me forward. You understand what I'm saying? And I said all that to say this. Eddie Hearn is ungrateful, doesn't understand, and he should be the first to say thank you, Al Heyman. You guys are like, Fred, again, what are you talking about? Well, here's the Carfax. I have receipts. Let's start with Kell Brook, right? Kell Brook was pretty much an unknown before he came over to America and fought Shawn Porter. Unknown to people, when he came over here, people thought he was good and sturdy. They started going on YouTube researching him. I knew who Kell Brook was. He was a mandatory to Floyd for quite some time or something like that. I remember him, and I just hadn't seen him fight live. You understand where I'm coming from? So I said all that to say this, right? When he fought and defeated Shawn Porter, right? 2014. Damn, almost 5 years ago. 3 of his next 6 opponents, let's total, including Shawn Porter, was advised by Al Heyman. Earl Spence, Kevin Bezier, and Shawn Porter, right? Now, you guys say, what the hell does that mean? Shawn Porter, he wins the strap, right? Wins, right? He's a big 147-pounder. Without the Shawn Porter fight, Kell Brook doesn't get the Gennady Golovkin fight. He's not a renowned name in the boxing community. He's not known as a really big welterweight. He's not a guy that can go up to 160 and actually compete against Gennady Golovkin, right? If he doesn't beat Shawn Porter, he doesn't get Gennady Golovkin. You understand? You guys understand the logic? And he had 3 softball pitchers to get to Gennady Golovkin, right? Now, let's fast forward to Earl Spence, which is his next fight after Gennady Golovkin. Without the Shawn Porter win, without the Frankie Gavi win, Gennady Golovkin, he doesn't get the Earl Spence fight. And you guys say, well, what does that mean? That Earl Spence fight, it was a good fight. It was a good 10-round fight, 9-round fight, 10-round fight, somewhere in there, before he took a knee. It made him a household name. Kell Brook is in everyone's consciousness in boxing. Why? Because he fought Shawn Porter. and defeated Sean Porter. You understand where I'm coming from? So, from that standpoint alone, he should be saying, thank you, Al HAYMON. Right? Now, if that's not enough, let's move forward to who he say is the most powerful man in boxing in terms of fighters, right? He says Anthony Joshua is the cash cow in boxing. He is the pay-per-view star, yada, 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 right? But he doesn't believe in pay-per-view, right? Now, he just beat Dillian White in a slugfest. He was hurt. Remember that? He was hurt, and he ended up coming back, and he ended up stopping Dillian White, right? You guys remember all that, right? Now, after the Dillian White fight, he fought Charles Martin for the IBF strap, which is his first strap, his first worldwide recognized strap, the IBF strap, right? One of the 4 alphabets, right? This is his first fight, right? That got Anthony Joshua rolling. Without that Charles Martin fight, Anthony Joshua quite possibly doesn't get Vladimir Klitschko. We don't know this. But because he has the strap, it makes it advantageous for him to get the IBO belt, the WBA belt. Remember, that was on the line for the Vladimir Klitschko fight. The IBO belt, I believe, and the WBA belt was on the line because Tyson Fury had his problems outside the ring, right? Right? But before I get there, after he fought Charles Martin, guess who he fought? Dominic Breazeale. Who is it? Who was he advised by? Al HAYMON. Who did he fight after that? Eric Molina. So without these 2 fights, he can't get Vladimir Klitschko. You guys understand where I'm coming from? Al HAYMON has a great deal of responsibility for helping Anthony Joshua get those three major belts. So at the end of the day, Eddie Hearn needs to be grateful and should be thankful and should always say, thank you, Al HAYMON. Now let's fast forward to today. Last July, June, July, somewhere in there, Al HAYMON, Team HAYMON, and Team Wilder offered Anthony Joshua $50 million to fight Anthony Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder with the guarantee and then with a negotiable split that they agreed upon. Not agreed upon, but what they offered in the contract. Al HAYMON single-handedly, I'm going to repeat this again so it digests. Al HAYMON single-handedly could have potentially retired Anthony Joshua and created generational wealth just by associating and doing business with Al HAYMON. This got to be one of the more powerful videos I've ever made as it relates to Eddie Hearn and him not understanding, right? And him being ungrateful, him being entitled. You understand where I'm coming from? Because at the end of the day, his 2 stars, without doing fair business with Al HAYMON, he would not be in the position that he is in. He would not, without those straps, he doesn't get the Klitschko fight. Quite possibly Klitschko fights Deontay Wilder. I don't know that to be true. We don't know. We don't know what the WBA and the IBF, what the IBF does. Maybe Charles Martin fights Deontay Wilder in a unified belt in Barclay. We don't know this to be true, but that would be a huge fight here in America. So at the end of the day, Eddie Hearn needs to be grateful because without these transactions, he doesn't get the DAZN deal. He's not fighting on an app without these dealings with Al HAYMON. His success is predicated upon him making business with Al HAYMON. Do you guys get this? Or is this going, or is it too much for you to digest? Is it hurtful? Eddie Hermanites is in silence right now. They don't get it. So, Eddie Hearn, I need your ungrateful ass to say thank you, Al HAYMON. Because without Al HAYMON, you have no DAZN deal. Without no Al Heyman, you have no IBF strap via Kell Brook, via Anthony Joshua, or I should say via Sean Porter to Kell Brook, via Charles Martin to Anthony Joshua. You get what I'm saying, guys? So people can say what they want, do what they want. People say Al Heyman don't work with people. Al Heyman doesn't move. He doesn't shake. Well, guess what? You can't rebuttal the truth. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't. This is the truth. This is the stone cold facts. Dillian White, double down, who I have no connection to. I've only interviewed him one time for 15 minutes in my life. Substantiated and validated the claims that the $50 million was real. I saw it with my own eyes. Your Honor, I rest my case. So Eddie Hearn, your next interview, I need you to say thank you, Al Heyman. Because without Al Heyman, you have no DAZN deal. Without Al Heyman, you're not promoting the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Because truth be told, if you don't have those straps, if you don't have that IBF strap, the WBA and maybe the WBO or whoever the case may be, says, hey, Anthony Joshua, or maybe they sanction Charles Martin versus Dominic Brazil, and the winner fights in 2015, 2016, fights Deontay Wilder in a big USA heavyweight fight. I'm just saying. So anyways, man, I thought I'd do this video and shed some light and shed some intelligence, shed some facts on reality. Eddie Hearn is ungrateful. And he needs to come to the conclusion that Al Heyman made him a better promoter. Al Heyman inspired him to be great. Or I don't know if he's great, inspired him to want to be great. Al Heyman taught him how to read contracts. Al Heyman introduced him to the American market. Al Heyman took him off his Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria ship and put him in a private jet. But what did he do? He gave us measles. He gave us chicken pox. You understand what I'm saying? Don't make sense. Eddie Hearn is the type of guy that if he owes you $50, he's going to go get $50 in pennies and hand it to you. Or give you $50 in ones. You know, I paid you. Just ungrateful. And without these dealings and these contracts and coming over to America, it doesn't inspire him to want to come over here to America. And that's a separate video because I want this to stand alone. I can definitely make this an hour-long video. But I'm going to stop here. And I'm going to let all this digest and sink in. And please send this to Eddie Hearn. Please send this to Frank Warren. Because this needs to be the narrative. This point forth, this video should inspire a boxing narrative. This video should inspire articles. This video should inspire tweets, Instagram messages, because these are stone cold hard facts. Barbershop Conversations. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. We got a great fight this weekend. Tank Davis is walking into the ring. Stars will be out. It's Grammy weekend here in LA. Floyd Mayweather said he'll be there. It's just going to be a fun event outside StubHub Center. I would wear a beanie and a scarf just in case, you know. But at the end of the day, we got fights at StubHub Center, and I think it is the most fan-friendly, crowd-friendly, boxing-friendly stadium we have here in America. You know. So anyways, man, Barbershop Conversations. Eddie Hearn. Next video, we need you to say thank you, Al Heyman. I'll holla. Peace.